Hello there. This is video number 1 in my SAT Math Prep video series. In this video, we're just going to do a nice little introduction into the math portion of the test. We're going to talk about the test layout, the content area distribution, and do a little Q&A. First, let's take a look at the test layout. Basically, the math portion of the SAT is going to be made up of two different types of questions. You're going to have multiple choice questions that have 4 options to choose from, and you will also have student-produced responses or grid-in questions. The multiple choice questions will make up 78% of the test, and the student-produced responses will make up 22% of the test. The math section will be broken up into a no calculator section and a calculator section. The no calculator section is going to last 25 minutes and will have 15 multiple choice questions and 5 student-produced response questions. The calculator section will be a little bit longer at 55 minutes and will have 30 multiple choice questions and 8 student-produced response questions. So that makes for a total of 58 questions in the math portion and lasting a total of 80 minutes. Now to take a look at the content area distribution. When the SAT redesigned the test in 2016, they decided to focus on 4 main areas. They called those 4 main areas the heart of algebra, problem solving and data analysis, passport to advanced math, and additional topics in math. Now, taking a look at each one of those individual areas, for the heart of algebra, there will be 19 questions on the test. In this section, you're going to have to do anything and everything that deals with solving equations, manipulating equations, and even solving and manipulating systems of equations. They're going to expect you to be able to create expressions, equations, and inequalities to represent relationships between quantities. You're also going to have to be able to use equations and inequalities to solve problems, as well as rearranging and interpreting formulas. In the area entitled Problem Solving and Data Analysis, you're going to have 17 questions. In this section, you're going to have to create and analyze relationships, but this time it's going to be focused around the topics of ratios, proportions, percentages, things of that nature. You're going to have to be able to describe relationships that you see in a graphical representation. You're also going to have to summarize qualitative and quantitative data. In the next content area, Passport to Advanced Mathematics, you will encounter 16 questions. This is going to be where you're going to need to be able to rewrite expressions using their structure. You're going to have to create and analyze solving all different types of quadratic and higher order equations, and then manipulations with polynomials, and specifically being able to manipulate those polynomials to solve problems. In the last area, additional topics in mathematics, there will be 6 questions in this area. These will deal with making volume and area calculations in context of a story problem. You're going to have to do some investigations with lines, angles, triangles, and circles, and you will need to have those investigations done through theorems that you have been taught, as well as working with your various trigonometric functions. So 4 main areas of how the math portion of the SAT will be broken down. Okay, now for a little Q&A here. All right, the question is, everyone wants to know, well, why did they change the SAT in 2016? And it was intended to provide a more comprehensive picture of students' readiness for college and workforce training programs. The test is supposed to rely more heavily on the topics that you were taught while you were in high school, so then that should give colleges an idea of, okay, did you learn what you were supposed to those 4 years that you were in college or in high school? Are you ready for college? And then obviously everyone wants to know, can students still use a calculator? As we've already talked, there is a calculator and non-calculator section on the test. So yes, you will be allowed to still use a calculator on the SAT. Another popular question, will the new SAT math test be harder? According to the College Board, The new SAT, the redesigned SAT test, requires just a stronger command of fewer but more important topics. So the things that are on there, they're going to expect you to know in more depth, but it's not going to be necessarily harder. To succeed on the redesigned SAT math test, students will need to exhibit mathematical practices such as problem solving and using appropriate tools strategically. When do you use a calculator, when do you not? Can you put it in the context of a story problem and then understand the math from that perspective? And our final question here is, how will the new SAT test be scored? You're going to have a score range of 200 to 800, and the one major change in the scoring is that there's no penalty for guessing, so you definitely are going to want to be able to answer every multiple choice question and even your grid in. You're not going to want to leave anything blank on the SAT since there is no penalty for guessing. So this kind of sums up this first little introduction video that I'm doing in this series. Future videos, I'm going to do some tips and tricks on how to solve some of the problems. Definitely study strategies. All right, and then I will be actually working out example problems in each of those content areas, and the way I do the questions, I will break them up into an easy level, a medium level, and a hard level. And so you're definitely going to want to watch for future videos as I continue to make these throughout the course of the year. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.